To order. First on tonight's agenda is to stand and take the flag. All righty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all. First on our agenda, should we change the president on there? Oh, yeah. We'll just swap Ron and chat there. Yeah. And then next we'll do we'll have a review and discussion of the meeting minutes from January 5th, 2026.
Yeah, that's got the president needs to change on that.
I think that's the meeting that we did. Oh, yeah.
Well, but it
would have been chat at that.
Yeah, it would have been chat at that time.
You are correct. Did anybody else see anything in there that stood out for being corrected? That's all right.
I make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes from January 5th, 2026 with the one correction as president.
Motioned by Kevin, second by Barbara. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried. Next on the agenda, is there anybody else that's got anything to bring up that's not in today's agenda? All right,
For public comment.
Dylan, you're up next.
Okay, so I wasn't at the last meeting, but 2 meetings ago, we had the citizen apply for a permanent use of a shipping container for storage, and the regulation says we can do that, so then that kind of raised the concerns of what we already have going on out there. And then we've got the rest of it. You guys have a copy of his permit that he turned in on his show. Basically, he's got some shipping containers he's been using on his property, and he would like to have a temporary use granted to him. He's asking for a period of 3 years to use them as storage, and then so he can use them until he can get moved off the property.
My daughter's going to build a house. It's all her stuff in there. So she says 2 years. I'm saying we'll see.
405 North Kansas. Exactly, yeah.
Across the tracks and back there, it's
Right there on the street in the golf cart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not quite to the poop pond? Right. Okay.
Other side of the road.
Yeah.
It's before the corner.
It's basically the last one on the west of the road.
Aren't there shipping containers right across the street already on property? Just across the street from the park?
That's the one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's been there for a
No,
minute.
that one,
No,
that's the other one up
That's
there.
the nursery.
Oh.
He's next on the list,
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. They're both kind of
but they're both right there.
the park area, yes, right.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm just trying to make sure it's known that they've been there for a while.
And so basically, I mean, they didn't know that it was against the regulations. As soon as I called them, they've been nothing but helpful trying to work with me. They've applied for a temporary use permit, so
What is the regulation?
they're only allowed a temporary use for an exemption.
If it's just temporary until she builds a house?
Well, things been changing in her life. She just had a baby, so now she's overloaded. She's just getting back to work. But the goal is that to her and Justin listen to plan on building in like in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's a big deal, as soon as the weather gets a little better, I just hate to unload them and then move them out to my place and then move all the stuff back. So, yeah, seems kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
You said this is the same permit, is that one?
Yeah.
Copy of?
Yeah. That's just 2 copies.
I've driven by there, I don't know how many times, I can't even, I know Mercer's, where are they on this one?
There's a double wide trailer.
Across the street from the dog park.
Yeah, so like, it's like the last city lot, like dog park's like right here somewhere. That last modular house, right before you leave town,
Okay.
right past the trailer park.
They kind of set up there next to the garage. That's
Over here.
for a long time.
I mean, if this is temporary for a couple of years, why not for?
So with Mercer's, we did 1 year,
Yes. So
and then they're
actually-
supposed to renew.
Yeah, he's asked to renew his year as well. He said he doesn't think it'll need that long, because he was gonna build a house there, now he's got a property outside of town, he's looking to build them, so he said he can move his relatively soon, but he'd like to extend it. So basically got
So we
two
did either.
situations that's similar.
My recollection was that we did 1 year with a stipulation of seeing how progress was going.
Yep.
So, and you're saying they're not even talking about doing anything for at least 2?
Yeah, I don't see anything happening before that. Of course, I'm sure they would like to have it done yesterday, but like the rest of it.
So basically, at this time, they're just sheds.
Yeah.
So they're not even temporary storage.
Well, there's
They're
stuff in
being-
them that makes them temporary storage.
Well, long-term, long-term storage.
Longer than I want it,
Temporary.
because
That'd be my.
none of it's my
Yeah.
stuff.
How long has Mercer's been on there?
1 year, a little over a year, he
Just
just,
say
Just
it's
doing-
obvious.
We can just make the exception to a year, so it's like next year, you know.
Yeah.
Do a
Same
year
thing
basis
with
thing.
Mercer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit for a year and then see where we're at, just like we do with Mercer.
Second.
Motion made by Holly and second by Chad. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried.
the next one would be Tim Mercer, he's asked to extend his permit for another year.
Can you make it some
I'm there,
progress,
you
right?
know,
He doesn't know if he's even gonna go on that lot in town anymore, but he does have property outside. of
you
town.
want to talk after?
I got stuff he could have then, he hasn't decided where he's gonna build his house.
I got it.
Hit me up on Facebook, you know.
But didn't he?
Yeah.
Just hit me up on
Send us that.
Okay.
No, we just issued it for 1 year, and it just came out at the end of 2025. So we
Sure, we can
basically-
get the first one taken care of.
The first thing we did was.
I didn't even know the property was in town.
Oh.
Yeah, he has that building permit, but just one for temporary use.
But I'm very late that.
Yeah.
For you.
I'll make a motion.
Well, I would-
1 year on.
Well, it's not my preference, I just get roped into a lot of this stuff
Motion by
because
Kevin,
my kids.
second by
and
Barb.
this
Any
and all.
further
You just want to drop off a paper letter for them or?
No, I'll talk to Davis, he just went out of town, Davis just moved back from Colorado,
Yeah.
so he's in a big house.
Written in the.
So I'll talk to him, when he gets back, he's,
I mean,
this job
I
is,
think if it becomes.
you never
a,
know, but it was a pipeline.
It becomes an
in
issue.
a week, you know, it
So it's
might
just
be
based on.
2 months, they might, you know,
I'll check back out to see what.
but anyway, I'll talk to him.
Because originally
I
when
would
he
probably
bought
already
the property
burned it.
from
He
his
said,
dad,
oh, it's too big.
he was
I'm
gonna
like,
build there and then it sat for a while. And then
He's afraid of it
They got
melting
the trailer
siding
out
on the
there.
house.
And then they
I
bought
don't
stuff,
think it will, but
loaded for Connex,
But
and something
if
happened.
that's the
later.
case, then I'll
Right,
have to
which is
take
fine.
a
I just
piece
extra
of equipment over there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
just Split it
No
up and then burn it and push it back on.
Been motion second.
All right.
Any further discussion?
I just got a question, and I guess, my question is, we give them a temporary permit for storage to build, and then there's no action taken, this thing does nothing. Why would we extend the permit when they've done nothing? We're basically giving them an unapproved storage shed.
Well, from what he said.
It would be no different if she came and said, I'm gonna build something on my lot. Craig, when we did not take any action on that, she came and said today she's gonna build something on that lot. She wants temporary storage shed, she just keeps redoing it. What's the difference?
But yeah, the one that you just granted, they've already been there for 2 years as well.
Yeah, that's why I didn't wanna go 3.
I don't think that's,
I mean, maybe a cap or something, I don't know, I mean, life happens sometimes, sometimes you get caught up.
I understand.
Having a baby or
I
something
mean,
like
they
that.
also came in and said that the reason why they weren't building yet was because of the cost of materials,
yeah,
cost of construction.
Tim now, he has made some plans, but I don't think he's decided anything. I mean, he didn't come crazy that he's gonna start construction this year, and have to go off of.
I mean, heck, it's taken me 2 years just to remodel my daughter's room, and it ain't even done yet. So, I mean,
Well, I totally,
My only thought on that would be,
yeah,
life happens and the
Right.
house doesn't get
if we
finished.
don't
Right.
extend it, then how long do we give them to remove everything and move the Connex line?
I'm not
No, I
disagreeing with you.
get what you're saying.
I'm just questioning,
should there be like a 5-year cap on it? Because I mean, by 5
Well, that's
years,
gonna
you would think
require
the
a policy,
foundation.
or a ordinance.
Yeah, no, I think just keeping it a year-by-year basis.
Yeah.
Council decides if it's something worth keeping or not keeping, and then
I agree.
can make the motion at that point in time, of a length of time to have it removed by.
If you see progress on within the year, then sure, have another year. But like with Mercer's, he's already said that they have a place outside. He plans on moving it soon. It probably won't take a year, but he's applying for a year, up to a year. So it could be 3 months and then it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did have the motion, we had the second, we had discussion, further discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried.
Okay, so then the last thing to do with these shipping containers might require some kind of ordinance or regulation change. About 5 years ago, I think it was, I first started on the zoning board at that time. Justin Tree was the administrator. We actually did approve the storage units there to put in permanent shipping containers instead of building another storage unit. So with that, actually went through, and that was approved by the city council as well. Even though it's not against the regulations, I don't know exactly what, if we made an exemption or what we did there, but that's just something to consider, because now we have commercial business using it and telling homeowners that they can't. So I don't know what you guys want to do.
Almost like there needs to be a stipulation between commercial use and residential.
That would be the
Zoning purposes.
In my opinion.
I would think that the distinction between there being an industrial use or a business use versus a residential zoned area would have
Sure.
impact on that.
So should we handle that as an exemption or
I still think
basis, or
that
would you?
the way the ordinance is written as it stands, it's still, somebody has to ask for an exception.
I agree.
Keep it as that for now. Or as
It's
it
your
is.
choice.
Yeah. Keep it as a base by base.
Correct. And then, so I guess as far as these shipping containers go, those are the only ones I've seen so far. I'll do a little more research again and see if I have any more to bring to you next meeting, but I think that might be it on that. So,
does zoning have a written part that says what they, I know what our ordinance says, is that what you're saying?
the regulations say that they're not allowed.
Okay.
But it doesn't distinguish between the industrial, commercial, residential use, so they're not allowed.
So I would say if we're gonna allow industrial commercial use, it has to be, something needs to be written up
Or,
on, they can't just sit in the middle of a yard. They gotta be on gravel, concrete, something.
yeah, the way we handled it when
Permanent
they
structure.
turned in their permit was we followed the same setbacks as any other structure, the way they do the place.
So I don't know if that, is that something we need to
Not the whole,
look at adding, or?
if you're giving a conditional use permit under the circumstances for them to exist, that's fine, but I would think that if I was a property owner in town living in a residential area, I really don't want Connex containers in the yards adjacent to my property. So if they're there temporarily, like we had a whole bunch of them in Harveyville after the tornado, because people were rebuilding. And temporary permitted use for that is expected. But there comes a point at which, when does it become permanent as opposed to temporary? And the way you're handling it, we'll look at it on a renewal basis for a period of time, but there comes a point where you can say, we're stepping off the slippery slope.
Yeah, those questions come from us having one in 2019. And when we got approved, we had to have a somewhat set date of construction and completion and when we would have it removed.
Yeah.
On our permit.
Yeah, and that's the permit that we've had filled out, they have that.
And when they ask for a temporary Connex, and they don't even have any start date. That's where I kind of have an issue with it. But, and I understand those have already been there. Anyways.
Anything else, Dylan?
That is it for me.
Anything for Dylan?
My question on the shipping containers, as far as permanent and non-permanent, in my mind, what would be a permanent use for a storage container?
Just for storage.
Just for storage, for building a house?
Yeah, people do build houses out of them now, I mean, that would not be allowed by our ordinance and regulation code.
I don't.
So it had to be based on, a temporary conditional use, or make an exception in a commercial case or something like that. So, I mean, really, people are just using it for storage. Some people use it as workshops, there's all sorts of things you can't use it for.
Even a commercial company would use it for permanent storage?
That's what we have at the storage units.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they put in 4 20-foot.
Oh, shipping containers? Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're in the backside.
Businesses can use them to store inventory.
Yeah, Connex boxes are airtight, watertight.
Most of them.
People are making houses out of them too.
So,
Yeah, but then they wouldn't be shipping containers anymore.
Already doing different purpose.
Right.
Well, that's the other thing. Somebody puts wood siding on one of these, so we can call it that.
should with a really strong core.
So, I mean,
Again, it needs to be black and white, what's allowable.
that or you handle everything, I guess, what they say.
Well, at that point, it becomes obvious that they're not intending it to be temporary. They're fixing it to be a permanent structure. So in those circumstances, we probably should get a building permit to ensure that it adheres to all the building codes.
Right, and so then, with it said, maybe you're there, I don't know if we have anything that detailed to say that it would need wood siding at that point, or if they just put a slanted roof on the top and call it a structure if they build in the box, So, I don't know that we have the details to determine that.
Well, at this point, I think you start seeing that sort of thing happen there, because their temporary approval, and they're going to be ordered to remove it because it was there only for a temporary basis.
Thank you, Dylan.
You bet.
If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the park.
I did have the library.
Yeah, I do have a,
Oh, park is actually library?
yeah, but,
Sorry, wrong
um, they'll be sending in those big sheet things to you next week. And then, the first couple days of February, they'll start asking for permits. So, that's the next step on the park.
Plans,
Yeah, there's, yeah. And then I think that, she's gonna call you tomorrow. I don't know what the girl's name is, but she wants to check the, electrical stuff in the new bathrooms. So we can tie in electricity going to the multi-purpose pad, and she just wants to see what kind of amps, wattages, or whatever it's called is in there, in that building. So I told her that you could get Dustin or somebody to meet her down there and open the thing. Okay,
Who's that that's looking for that?
the engineer that does electrical
Oh,
for B&G will come and look at all of the electrical stuff. Because we wanted to put power to the multi-purpose pad, so like if we had a band or something like that. And so she is designing where those little boxes will go, and she wants to know what's already in the.
Yeah, she needs to know how much the average
Yeah.
service is.
Yeah.
yeah, I know you can plug quite a bit out there because they've got all the blow-ups and all that stuff
Right.
out there too.
Right. Okay, then library now. The first thing I wanted to address, and then I have my annual report, my survey that I do every year. So Michael said that you guys cut ties with QuickCom, right?
Mhm.
So Larry negotiated when QuickCom cut their equipment on the water meter that the library would always have free internet and phone. So I don't know what's going to happen if we don't work with QuickCom anymore, but I can guarantee you I don't have it in my budget to just suddenly pay for internet in
You
2026.
I mean, it should still be there for you guys, is it?
We're canceling service with them, so, it's the city as a whole for their equipment on the tower. But I think she could, if she's okay with Mercury, I think we could move Mercury over there.
I don't care who provides the service, but I'm just saying I don't have the money in my budget for 2026 to suddenly add in internet.
Why are we cutting ties with QuickCom?
I have no idea.
I mean,
That was awful.
It's awful.
Mr. Mercury.
We've never had any trouble over there with QuickCom. I can only think of once in 5 years that our internet went down. But
Internet and phones.
I mean, it's free and it's been negotiated into the library and we're just adding another cost to the library's budget. I don't understand why the
Well,
library.
we haven't
No,
said.
excuse me. I don't understand why the library itself is cutting QuickCom. Us as a city, as the city, stuff, that's in and of itself. But as far as the library, I don't understand if it's free and it's only gone out once.
I'm not cutting QuickCom. My question is, if when the city cuts ties with QuickCom, is that going to affect my free QuickCom? Is what I'm asking. I'm fine keeping QuickCom.
That's
Right,
our
I think it
understanding
was
is that we
built in.
can, because Michael's been in contact with them, that it was canceling all of our services.
Yeah, and I think it was built in with, since the city had QuickCom account, that the library got free income back. Is my understanding.
They were like piggybacked together.
Now, are we changing our contracts with QuickCom for having the tower usage?
That's part, yes.
And we're doing well with that.
Michael's been working on it, but it's impossible to get anyone that could come that knows anything about it. He's been going around and around with them.
Well, no matter what, we need to make sure that they do have service over there. That wouldn't fall back on them, and stay how it does, as it is now.
So,
Guess I'm just not clear on why we're cutting ties. Is it like a money issue?
No, it's a service issue.
What's wrong with the service?
As a service for the city, we've had continuous problems within maintenance in the city offices with internet as well as phones. Now, the library's been lucky, but as many times as there's been communications put out that their city phones aren't working or the internet's not working, then City Hall and the police department had two separate internet connections, and they would both consistently have issues. So that was the deciding factor. Now, when the QuickCom came in and we worked with them and we agreed with the contract that we would allow them to do, it wasn't the library was separate, it was the city as a whole would gain internet access. We would have internet Wi-Fi at the park here and the library. It wasn't a separation of everything, it was just the city had that as a service, is what we agreed upon.
Okay, so since the city has decided to cut ties with QuickCom, who gave the internet free service or whatever it was,
No, and that's what I just said. We're not, we shouldn't be charging the library for it.
okay,
It'll stay with the city as it is now. It'll just be an additional service line. Or should be.
So we can see the situation with QuickCom and see if you can keep QuickCom because you like them. If not, then we just get another line through Mercury.
Which is fine with us. But we do have, you know, several computers, we have wireless, the wireless that goes outside and all of that, so.
You would be on their fiber.
Okay.
Yeah, everything that you have within your building and your Wi-Fi going outside, that's all separate from the internet connection itself. All that comes into your router and then goes into everything else within your network. So, none of that stuff will change. The only thing it's going to change is the connection coming in and then your phone types.
Okay. So, not to sound like the greedy guts here, but will we always get this free I mean, are you gonna hit me next year for, we'll always have the internet, you're always gonna cover the internet and the phone for us?
It's been that way since day one.
Right.
I mean, as part of the agreement.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
Yeah, under the Kansas cash basis law, this council cannot commit separate council. But I believe what they're communicating is they have no intention of shifting that charge over to the library board.
Okay.
But you understand, under the Kansas cash basis law, this council cannot commit a future council to providing free internet.
Okay.
So if the whole council changes in 2 years.
We'll need to come back and ask
Right.
for internet and phone to be covered again.
Right.
Okay.
On that same vein, Emily, can we call around, because I know that we've gotten several internet companies in the city now. Can we call around to see what would be the best budget? Like, not necessarily the cheapest.
I think Mercury's providing it for free, aren't they?
Oh, are they?
We got all the equipment and installation free and then.
Okay.
yeah, the problem with that though is, the phones. The phone service, Cox doesn't provide phone service.
AT&T does.
But we just switched them, council just approved, this is new, we just
Oh,
got a
really?
full install.
Oh,
AT&T is a slower internet. They're still DSL.
oh, I've
They're not
got
fiber.
AT&T Air. And it's not. Anyways, I don't know what they would provide at a commercial level.
So I think to answer your question is we'll cover your bill and just come back each year.
Well, the other option, I mean, if QuickCom is gonna maintain an antenna here, work it into the deal that they keep their stuff. That way they don't have to change anything.
Try that first, yeah.
It all comes down to the negotiations of using the tower.
Yeah.
I believe what Michael's working on with them is, having just the one service compared to what the tower fees are is nowhere close, so it would just be, they'd get a discounted tower fee if they keep the library on.
Yeah.
So,
That way the library doesn't have to change anything. They don't have to worry about
Remember
that.
that first?
And as long as QuickCom stays the trust, or has business here, you know, work it in the deal.
And there are still other citizens in Cargill utilize that, so
mhm.
rather than them just saying, now we're not gonna pay fees and packing up and leaving town.
Now, the other thing to consider the fact that, Cox Cable's coming to town, Mercury's in town. How long is QuickCom gonna stay here? Because they're just a wireless service. And,
We'll see, we'll write it out
Yeah.
when we can.
Okay, okay. This is the yearly survey that I do in January. It takes me a couple weeks to compile all of this info. I have to submit all of this to the state in order to get my state grant. I can't get my Nichols grants without my state grant, so basically, I don't have any choice. I think I'm short one.
You're fine, right?
So these are our stats from 2025. The library was open 2,080 hours. Last year we were open 2,040 something. We added 40 hours this year. We added that extra hour from 5 to 6 o'clock on Monday evening. That was the biggest response that we got from our survey of 10 people who filled it out. I don't remember, but basically they wanted us to have another night that we were open after 5. So that was this Monday night. We still have 893 people with library cards. We serviced 8,900 people last year. We've got 7,000 items in our collection. We still have lots of people using our Wi-Fi and our computers. 2,700 people took advantage of our programs this last year. If you look at the print materials where it says 6,032, usually I do the math before I come here, so someone else can do the math. But basically, if you say $20 a book times 6,000 books checked out, we saved the citizens $12,000 in the last year. Is that right?
Yeah, a little over.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I do books, not math. But, yeah, so that was my annual report.
These are really good.
Thank you. Thank you. We are starting believe it or not, we are starting programming for summer reading, so that's already in the plans. You know, it's hard to believe, but we're gonna start in January to get things ready for June. Any questions for me?
Keep up the good work.
Thanks. I'll see you in a few
You're
months.
definitely doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan? You're up next, sir.
Sweet. Like me to step up to the front?
If you wouldn't mind. We're right here in center front. Did you
Here's
have
this
something?
with your money amount.
Oh,
So with the SCADA stuff that we did at the water plant and everything, this needs updated
Yeah.
to work with this.
So the smart site system is what we run our Excel reporter on. The Excel reporter is where we get all our data for the monthly reports that we send to the state. When we upgraded the old computer from Windows 7 to the new computer, Windows 11, we had to get a new SCADA license as well as a new smart site Excel reporter license. And that is a perpetual license. We don't have to make payments or anything like that, just a one-time deal. So.
So we need
approval for $2,800.
Make a motion, we approve the smart site license for $2,800.
Motion by Kevin, second by Ron. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried. What else you got going on?
A lot. We are currently working on getting the salt and sand spreader back up and running. The carburetor went out on it. We've also seized and broken one of the chains on it. So we're working on getting that replaced. We are almost there. We're just missing 2 of the studs for the carburetor. Those will be in hopefully by the end of the week.
Nice.
Right before the storm, if possible storm.
Yeah.
Plan with the parking lot and skips is hopefully get it done in the next couple of days, depending on good weather. We're trying not to expose the pipe for too long because it could freeze while we're trying to get it flushed and filled and such.
Yeah. No, that's one, Dustin said that's where one of the shut-off sits or something?
Yes.
Now you're putting something that allows you to get to it now, right?
Yes, we'll be putting a riser in to get it above that second layer of asphalt. Because that's what happened was they paved over top of the first one, and we found a leak going through the 2 separate layers of asphalt.
Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else?
Nothing else I can think of.
Do you know when you guys are planning on starting lights for the park?
That's also pending weather. Warmer weather for the concrete to set properly.
Anything else for Jonathan?
No.
No. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank
Good evening. You're welcome. Shannon?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Police Department's up next.
So first thing I would like to show you is, so I did, last year, apply for, free vests for 3 of us. Actually, I wanted 4, but they, approved me for 3. And so we received 3 ballistic vests, probably about $1,700 to $2,000, value. And they were shipped to us, a couple weeks ago. So I, paid just about $6,000, in getting that grant process done. I just recently went to the surplus, because I had a tip that there were some carriers that we could probably use, which is these plate carriers, because what they ship us is the stuff that goes into our clothes. And these carriers, were $5. So, at this point, a little over $6,000. And this will last for the next 5 years. They only last 5 years and they start to degrade, or they degrade all the time. And as you know, I'm sure you all have seen my vest, it was falling apart. So, it is good that, I was able to get all that. And I got some more carriers, so, we'll be going through the process of getting those fitted on the officers, and everybody will be good for another 5 years. So I thought that was good news. So the sergeant, position, has been going to, Sergeant Mariah. And so, I was bringing that last meeting, we were sidetracked by a warrant arrest. So, I just need to get it approved to give her a raise along with, her promotion.
Currently, she's, with the pay scale change that we did last year, prior to her becoming a sergeant, she would have been at 45,000, as the other officers were. In the discussions with Michael and all them, I don't know what the council would think, but being the sergeant position, she would be second in command. So if Shannon's gone, she would do that, plus she's gonna be over the 3 officers. I'd like to see her maybe go to, 50,000, which would be the same as the city clerk.
They should.
Because it is a supervisor
Should
position.
have had a job description.
If we have that in here.
Do we have that in Emily? Okay.
I didn't see anything in there.
Okay. It was a job description that we put together and. Okay. Yeah, it's not in that. Okay.
Does anybody recall what the percentage of raise was when we did this last time?
For the budget, when we did the budget, yeah.
No, when we did the sergeant promotion last time?
It was the next step, when we taking the steps out, so.
Yeah. What would that percentage be? Have any of that taken?
I had it on that printout.
I don't know, we're a few years down the road, but I'm just trying to get a comparison.
Yeah.
So we took the steps out. How come?
That was something about me.
The steps that, the original pay scale and steps that we had, as COLAs happened and such, they were never adjusted and they were way out of whack.
There was a lot of confusion with
Yeah.
them, and there was a lot of, debate, because we get a COLA, but then the COLA wouldn't keep up with the steps that were already in place. And so you'd have somebody making more than a step and not get their step, but that was a whole citywide thing. That was not just, that was city.
So you have more towards the merit.
That happened, did that happen during the budget, or was it before that? I can't remember, it was just this last year. Right.
I know Michael has talked like budget-wise, like, I know they calculated a couple different numbers.
You say 10%.
Yeah, and 3% was 22, 27, and 5% was 22.71.
Was that?
The 3% would be 22, 27, or, sorry, yeah, 22, 27, and the 5% raise would be 22.71.
If we need more information, let's go to you and come back to the next meeting.
I'd like to know what the typical percentage raise, in other cities,
Well,
as far as, you know, the stages at which he's at, you know what I mean?
that's one of those things that's always been difficult for the council.
I
And
can do that, though. I'll get ahold of, Overbrook and Burlingame. Well, Burlingame they don't have sergeants.
Even bigger
Let me
cities
see.
too.
Let me see.
Tommy, have you got any of the towns you represent?
You might call Wellsville.
Okay. I'll call you. No, chief there. Yeah. I'll call him. Yep, we'll call those. The next thing is, I have guns. So we came to you last year, and obviously you guys weren't here for this. So originally we purchased one gun. We agreed to get 5 guns with trade-ins, and then we sold a couple vehicles to help pay for it. And so we are at the end of that transaction. So for the first weapon, you guys approved the $795. There were $795 a piece. And then they, that's with the gun, the hollow sights, the red dot, and the Berlin holsters. And so the total for that, for all the weapons, was $39.75. That includes the first one that you guys approved just right off the bat to purchase. We didn't pay for it yet. He let us have it so that he could take it to Academy because we had such old weapons that the night sights were gone out on them, and so the people at Academy would not approve them safety-wise for them to be used by our officers. And so that's what started this process. And so yeah, $39.75 is for the weapons, lights, and holsters.
And you were trading in the old one, weren't you?
We did trade in, and so for the trade-in, we got $1,500.
Oh, okay.
And that's what the trade is, so the total was, that's what the trade is.
Oh, okay.
Then, we also need to get approved buying the ammunition. We went from 45, to 9 millimeters. And so we needed the 9 millimeter duty rounds. And so, we did trade in some, ammunition to Charger Arms to reduce the cost on that. And he gave us $75 in credit for that. And that made the ammunition was $338.30 for all of our duty rounds. And so the total with the ammo was $4,313.30 minus the $3,200 that we had sold vehicles for. So we had an overage of $1,113.30. And that is in our budget to spend from our equipment fund. So Michael allowed it because we have no problem spending that. Charger Arms has been amazing to work with. You know, we have functional weapons. In fact, the officer Locke that shot with it at the Academy actually got 100 on his fall, which is pretty crazy, pretty unheard of. So,
So you need a motion for the
so I need a motion to pay,
100 or?
to pay the bill, for the ammo and the weapons.
Okay. The grand total.
I had $4,313.30.
And that's with the 3,000
That's-
the vehicle.
And then if we take, so the 3,200 is sitting there.
I get you. I'm just trying to split up where the money's gonna be coming from, so.
Right.
if they gotta allocate where the money's at in their motion. The grand total bill and then the 3,200 you said?
Yeah, it's 3,200 because,
From the vehicle that was associated with the sold to go towards that equipment.
You have statements for all that paperwork?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious about it, because we've got the water statements and the Excel report, but I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, I
She,
didn't,
before
I
the
just
meeting
have
and-
to, I come out and I usually explain everything and just speak about it, if you want a copy, you're welcome to have it.
I just figured it'd be in the, that's fine.
But yeah, you're welcome to have copies of the system. So yeah. So that's what we just need to.
The motion,
So you're needing it for the 4,313.30. I make a motion that we approve the purchase of the guns and ammo in the amount of $4,313.30 from Treasurer.
motion by Ron. Second by Barb. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried.
Appreciate it. We did have a code thing we needed to talk about this evening. We saw the vehicle over at 205 South Fourth. I didn't get pictures of it today because I was busy. I got pictures of it tonight. We also now have a officer alert, because apparently the residents there have threatened to shoot law enforcement. So I did not go take pictures of the tail light or tag, just being on precaution. I was not able to get into, to see if he has registered the vehicle. As of last week, he had not registered the vehicle, and it is sitting backed up to the front of the house. So,
Is this the one that we,
this is the guy that I believe he's still, I think he's probably still in Virginia or whatever. But the truck is right here in front of the house. So I just was supposed to bring that back to you guys and hear what you want to do about it. And the tires is doing that.
has there been any contact with him?
No.
The court proceedings on that have gone on since April.
You what?
The court proceedings for that code case started in April of 2025.
But there's been threats issued.
It was for the sheriff's department, yes. I'm just, the only reason I shared that is because that's why I did not go and take pictures of that.
What legal action does he have as far as that goes?
Well, it's a situation where every day that it is a recurring violation, the court can issue a fine. But there comes a point at which you're not going to get the money out of an indigent, and you hate to run up a whole bunch of your expense chasing a criminal. There is another aspect in your city code where you can you can take action through a resolution to invite the individual to come in and address the council. And as I recall, the guy did come in and address the council and indicate that he was military, that he was headed back to the hospital, that he was going to take action to abate the nuisance vehicle.
You got the other situations taken care of. This is just the last one that.
So the question is this of such a magnitude that you want to take it to the next level and abate the nuisance yourself and then pass a resolution to assess the costs back to him? And it would then be, if he doesn't pay it, it'd go on the tax rolls. couple more steps involved there, but
Well, they can get anything off the tax rolls because they're renting it probably.
my professional opinion is continue to try and cooperate with this individual, see if you can impress upon his better judgment to get the vehicle legal. While he's gonna be on the premises.
To be fair, it wasn't him, it was the people that are living there now that were threatened.
Okay.
So at what point can we legally hold the property owner at cost?
Well, you have to go through the due process that's outlined in your code provision and that.
Which has been done, right?
Well, a portion of it has.
Well, by property owner, I mean, they're renting the home.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We have not approached the property owner, have we? So at what point do we do that?
When you say the property owner, the real property owner or the vehicle?
So it's
I think it's being the
real estate,
whoever owns the house.
whoever owns the house.
But they rent their
The
landlord.
landowner is responsible for that property.
Isn't that the main end?
No.
No, I understand, my concern would be that, yes, I get that the individual's in the military and he is empathetic. I get that. But if we keep just saying, oh, just let it slide, he's in the hospital, are we justified by doing that and then enforcing that same policy for tag on a vehicle to other people in the city?
No, I understand. It's a slippery slope.
And he did come in and we did say we would give you until January, and he was here when we discussed it.
So part of that was he was supposed to stay in contact.
Yeah.
So when you say it's gonna go on the tax roll, does that go on the landowner's
It
tax?
can go on the landowner's tax rolls. Because the landlord is essentially allowing for his tenant to have a vehicle on the premises that's in violation of city ordinance.
So do we have to
What's-
notify that?
Yeah,
Wasn't that just a friend that was living there? It wasn't actually his place, was it? Okay.
So what's our next step in the due process of what we're at right now? What will be our next step?
you're gonna need to send me the details on this, because we have to shift it over to the civil aspect, which is you all pass the resolution, we notify the vehicle owner, any other interested parties in the real estate, and say, you get a disabled vehicle, or an operable vehicle, this needs to be abated. If you don't, the city's going to abate it at your cost. And there will be a couple more resolutions involved there. Because this process will be finishing up about April.
So I'm curious, when we gave him until January, we gave him until January to do what? To clean up the original mess, or to get the truck actually tagged and insured and all that stuff?
To take care of the issue. So
To make it
there's several, yeah, to make it compliant. So there's several ways to do that. One way would be to get rid of the vehicle. The other way would be to get the vehicle running and tagged. And so those are pretty much the options. And if you would have done one or two, then it would be fine. But it's not compliant because it doesn't run and it is not tagged. And that's
Or
the-
enclose it in a garage.
Yeah.
Right.
And he should give faith because he also had a motorcycle and something else out there.
Yeah, which he got all cleaned up.
Right, no, yeah, I
Too much
helped
to
him,
this.
I helped him haul the mattress off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think his case is a little bit different. We can talk about whether he's in the military or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, it's since what, December? Was it December that he came in? Was it November? November?
Yeah.
So in 2 months, not only having to deal with a newborn and cancer, apparently, and having to serve, but he's also showed good faith in not only getting rid of the mattresses, getting rid of the motorcycle, but he's also gotten that truck parked in such a way that And I don't want to advocate for somebody who's going against city code, but he's got it backed up to the house. Could we give him a little more time?
Well, the other part of that was he was supposed to be in communication with us.
Okay. Have we reached out to him as well
On a couple of occasions.
since November? And has he reached back out?
No.
How many times have we moved?
A couple of times.
A couple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have time to chase them, pay down that has code violations and talk to them. Yeah. So he knew what, he understood what he, and I don't have, I just, so, I will get the information to you, and then.
So I think we're still gonna reach out to and.
Yeah.
You know, like Tom said, it would be a process of, you know, until April before anything big happens.
Yeah, I just feel like coming down with an iron fist on the guy who's actually showing that he's trying to do right by the city. I don't, it's a gray area, for sure.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Anything else for Shannon?
Yeah, I do. You were going to get us, like, stats on all your, like, stocks and all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
Is that still something?
We still need to get that done.
Okay, and, before, I remember that you also gave those stats, but broke down with officers. Can we get that as well?
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep it on your
It's
radar.
actually a really busy year already.
Yeah.
We have several arrests and stuff going on.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it on your radar.
I had one more question. I was curious about, I had seen, and I know Facebook is just full of complaints and fake stuff, but I just wanted to ask and make sure, is there an officer on duty 24/7? There isn't.
No.
How many officers do we have on payroll right now?
We have five. We have 2 in academy.
Okay.
So, we have 3 that are covering the shifts that we can.
Okay.
One's part-time too.
So, she's not covering any shifts at all.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we're covering the shifts we have, people for. And we still have, you know, you have to have time off. Some people have been sick, or they go to a training, or, you know, we don't have coverage. We didn't have coverage Monday during the day because I went to a training. So, it's just kind of interesting.
Right, no, I get that. I'm just trying to make sure that things are kind of taken care of. And you said there's 2 people in academy? When do they get out of academy and start to be able to cover shifts?
February 2nd, February, the first week in February, and then the third week in February. And then they'll come back and they will ride along with me for a little while for our FTO program, which is our field training officer program. We all just run on the street. And so they'll be around with me for a couple weeks, and they'll probably be with one of the senior officers for a couple weeks, and then probably April, March. In March, early April, they'll be able to be on their own.
Okay. And I may be mistaken or misheard, but did you say that the part-time person isn't covering the shift?
She hasn't been able to recently because of whatever's going on in her life.
Okay.
It's a part-time thing, so she's not helpful and she can't.
Okay, so there's only 2 officers right now that can cover shifts?
3. Myself, Mariah, and Steve.
Oh, I must be misunderstanding.
Okay, so there's also a 6th person that we're phasing out the part-time. Which we agreed to phase out the part-time employee and have it full-time, so we could have 5 full-time. And we hired those 2 just this last fall. And so they started academy about 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So, so then they'll get back 2 weeks apart. Mariah's been here you graduated a year ago, October, and then Blake graduated this last October. So those are the ones that are on the road right now.
okay, so there's 5 full-time and 1 part-time? And then 2 of the full-time ones are still in academy.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there's 3 full-time. Okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. Thank you.
What we got on Peddlers?
Also on police,
Oh, okay.
Blake, or not Blake, Zachary, remember, was having some issues and the battery died, and they had to leave it running, and so they had to put gas in it, and there wasn't a cases around, so he had to spend $30 out of pocket to put gas in, so I just need approval to take that $30 for gas.
So that's for Zach?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to motion to approve Zach?
Make a motion, we approve Zach's expense for $30.
Motion by Kevin, second by Ron. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All in favor, motion carries. Okay. Now Peddlers.
There is. We were, I don't know, copy of it here. So with the Peddlers licenses, it doesn't, there's nothing that clearly states like, on their background checks that we do. What defines whether they can go out in our community or not? We can run the background check on them, but we don't have anything that says, yes, they can or cannot. And so we wanted to revamp the Peddlers a little bit, and then, Tika seems to have a pretty good process for it. We talked to you about this a little bit. And so it just needs revamped a little bit, so we just need kind of approval to start that process.
So, like, if you have somebody that shows conviction for sex offense or felony convictions for burglary, theft, those sort of things, those are probably folks that you're not going to want to give a Peddler's license to.
We recently had one, and so it was kind of, we run them, but we don't have any stipulations on whether to grant it or not. So we just kind of went by like our city employee hiring process, and that's how we went about it. Based off of the.
Yes.
So Mickey's Roofing comes into town and they've got 3 people that work for them. Who are you running the background check on?
So the Peddlers is door to door. So anyone going door to door selling something has to have a background check done. Anyone going to door to door. So if it's a company selling books, any individual that's going to their house, whether there's 10 of them or 1 of them, they all have to get background checks.
And those individuals that are going door to door are supposed to have what with them?
They're licensed in the city.
What does that look like?
A piece of paper that we print off.
And I asked because I've had people come by and I said, have you talked to City Hall? Yeah. Well, do you have a permit? Yes, my manager has that.
No, each individual person is printed off a permit with their name on it.
Okay.
And they're told to have it on them, and they have to present it.
And if they don't?
Then they're violating your ordinance. So the question is, do you want to prosecute?
Because I know you put them, I know you do put the pictures on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, not every time. But
So the question at hand really is, what
We have approval
policy
to revamp it.
do you want to put into place if somebody comes back with a negative background check? That they can fall onto the city to say, this is what our policy says, you don't meet the criteria, you don't get the permit.
When did we start granting permits to Peddlers?
Forever.
Since Peddlers were a thing.
I don't know the exact date, but it's
yeah, I think we
we've always
should
held it.
have a policy that says that,
18,
to protect the citizen.
So
Okay.
you just need a consensus to be able to draft up a rough draft, right?
Mhm.
Is that how it works, Thomas?
Bill, I try to not create work for me unless you guys tell me to do it, because I just don't want to spring something on you. But, yeah, I think that this would be a good thing to have, because really, it does put the city staff in kind of a dilemma. Well, who do we approve, who do we disapprove?
It'd be good to have black and white, so you have a yes or no.
And we can take whatever the city of Topeka has. I frankly, I really like looking at the city of Manhattan's code on many of these things because it's very well done. So
You just need a consensus by council.
if I have the consensus of the council to go and put the work forward, I'll do it.
Council give the consensus? Yes, yes. Yep. Oh, you said yes?
Sure.
Okay. You got a consensus by all?
I don't know how
Thank
to go
you.
about having someone sort of do it in the first place, but, I mean, if it's, I guess if it's been
Might as well strengthen the rules on it, right?
forever, huh?
Might as well make the rules more strict, right?
Yeah, might as well.
Eliminate out the bad ones.
Well, I know that, quite a few of the communities I represent still have peddlers that come in and do, sell door to door.
Right.
And they do regulate it. But, I don't know that, I think guidelines are a really good thing to have for your personnel so that they know that they can pull back on something and say, you don't meet the criteria, sorry, we can't give you a license.
Right.
It's in a bad situation.
Right.
They also are very pushy. I mean, they get pushy with us as well, so.
Right, and that, I mean, that's, in that essence, that's why I don't think those are so much over in the first place. I mean, if I need new windows,
If they have
I'll
enough,
get
if
you
you have
one.
enough solicitor sign, they can't come to your door.
And they're, for the most part, respectful of that, because we have one that kills them all day, and she does not get involved.
We all done with peddlers?
Yes.
Live streaming. What do you got for live streaming?
I'll
Who's got live streaming?
let Ashley talk about it. This information here is
The sound bar and stuff?
we're getting some complaints that you guys can't be heard on there.
yeah.
Well, I know how to fix that. Sit right here.
Crank the volume up real loud, you can hear everyone. So this is a sound system that, I'll let you talk about it actually.
So we have been operating on a Valiant little web camera that is not built for this whatsoever. And I've been asked to look at better equipment to better facilitate our live streaming process. These soundbars are something that the school has that they utilize in their streaming process. It is video and sound in one. The reviews on it are good, and we included information just that if we do get it in here and we're still receiving feedback that audio is not as good as people would like it to be, we can also add those drop mics. Theoretically, they would drop from the helium plate near the corners of the tables that would interface with the software and the soundbar, and then we would have a full room audio experience if that's what we need. What I've researched on the soundbars is that it should be adequate for our space here on its own. I'm gonna put you in HD. But we would like to try upgrading to that, see what we get as far as feedback from the people that are watching, and then if we needed to move forward with additions to audio and things like that, we could do that later.
How does the council feel about that?
So right now, we're just asking for the $399.
Yeah.
So out of all these papers, this is what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I didn't send her a pretty proposal, I just sent her Amazon listing, so I did.
in my day-to-day job, they do utilize similar, bars like this in conference rooms. Similar to this size, smaller, maybe a little larger, and they have been pretty reliable, as in like sitting towards the back of the room and Bart picking up voice. I think this would be in my opinion, a good first step to see how it works, see how well it does. And if, like Ashley said, if we need to add some mics to pick up their voice, we can do that.
Yeah, so there's an expansion mic to extend that range, because on that second page of the information, it says, understood clearly with up to 15-foot microphone pickup range. I don't know, I think that's probably only 15 foot.
So the last 2 pages from the back is the mic that's
But, yeah.
And we do have the option, I'm gonna volunteer Dustin here, we could bracket it into the ceiling, so it didn't necessarily have to attach to the wall. It could be closer to you guys, and we would just pull the video zoom back, the audio would be closer to you. So, I mean, we have options as far as where to place it and how to best utilize it.
I make a motion we approve the Poly Studio 4K for $399 for better audio.
Motion by Holly, second by Ron. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried.
Let's go back to maintenance, I forgot something.
Nope. Yeah, what do you have?
So, as far as open positions, there's a job fair in Topeka coming, February 11th. That's something we could participate in to try to get maintenance people. We talked, maybe Dustin and I could go up and try that out if you guys are interested. Or we can put it back on Indeed or whatever it was they used. We don't get any results as a local paper.
When is the job fair?
February 11th.
February 11th.
I would say yes, but I would also like us to continue trying to advertise for it, because February 11th is a month away. And, yeah.
We can open it back up on, I think it's Indeed that we did, so.
Where did you say the job fair was at?
It's in the Crestview Community Center, 4801 Southwest Shunga Drive.
So the fair one. I mean, Fifth Carolina, sure.
I actually wanted to talk about this as well. What would the council think about having a member of council in the interview process with city? Because I think you had sent an email or something, said something about the managers from the department and the city officials doing the interviews.
That's how it used to be. And I think that's what Chad talked about in a couple of the meetings, like why are so many coming for interviews and things, and weeding out some of the applications. So I believe how they did it in the past was, and Shannon might know as well, they kind of go through the interview process on their own and choose who they want, and then they just bring that one person to council and get the approval.
Because I feel like that process leaves room for nepotism or cronyism, if you may. Because when the manager just chooses whoever they want, we end up with people who are buddies that don't actually get the job.
And then office staff can sit in on it as well. Or it just kind of helps start that process so that it's not every 2 weeks at a council meeting. And
well, my point was that the supervisor knows what they're looking for. And that's what I would like to see, is the supervisor go through the applications, narrow it down to however many they want to bring to us. They have fully qualified, yes, a vetting process.
And that's what the.
So that when they sit in front of us, they've already approved anybody that we pick out of what they bring to us.
We have interviews, we interview people. I'm not a maintenance guy. I can get in the hole with the maintenance department and I can help them with the water pipe, but I can't fix an electrical panel or the water plant or nothing like that. I rely on Dustin for that. I could see doing the supervisor being the interview process, and then maybe you sitting in on it as a sounding board for him, because you're not a maintenance person or a police officer either. So technically you don't you're not qualified to ask this question. Same as us. To me, the maintenance supervisor would interview him, fill out his questionnaire, you know, and you record it, I guess, and then you could line out what the answers were.
And then we
And
can
then-
start the background checks and things, because
Yeah,
if
and
we
then
did a
bring it to
background
us.
check on everyone, then it's gonna add up. So if we just go by who Dustin interviews and
Or whoever the head of that department
Yeah.
is, not just Dustin.
So,
And that's what's
how-
reflected in your handbook that you guys
it is.
redid.
So how I can envision kind of the same way, like you have the department head, and then whether it be like another person, you, Michael, whoever, but that second person is just there to quote unquote observe, take note, and the department head with the knowledge of what the job requires actually conducting the interview, and afterward get together, hey, I noticed this, oh yeah, I noticed this, kind of brainstorm between the two, and then the ultimate decision would come down to the department head. And then that's who they would bring to us.
Yeah, they move on to, you know, council interview.
Do you want us to go ahead and do the drug screen and background checks and everything before they
No,
come, or no?
I don't think that's smart.
I would
And-
rather they go through the process of coming here, we talk to them. Because otherwise you could have 4 of them that Dustin picks. You gonna do background check on all 4, or we're only picking 2?
Do we
I-
charge for background checks?
And $30.
For background?
Mhm.
I would rather, I wouldn't want or expect them to bring 4 people. I want that narrowed down to 2 or less.
Well, but the issue with that is, we've had issues with background checks and other, So-
Then he
So once
has two to go back, to back up on.
Once the supervisor narrows it down, then we'll do the background checks. If it
they
goes
had
past that,
19
then-
I mean,
applications,
I just,
and then brought us 3, and 1 showed up.
Right, and see, and
So-
that's, and to your point, where's our system flawed at, is what I'm trying to look at and solve. With the department head being, you know, conducting the interview, ultimately selecting who they want for the position, I completely understand that point. But what I'm saying is experience is one thing, but being a candidate that's gonna show up and want to do the job and have integrity at the same time is another ballgame. Rather than, you can have all the experience in the world, but if you can't pass the background check, I'm just trying to find out where the system is flawed at. And if we can have someone.
There's several
and
flaws in it.
Right.
also,
We have applications in the office now that are coming to interviews.
yeah,
that
to her
can't
point.
be- Haven't been brought for an interview.
Also, to her point, if Dustin tells 3 people, hey, show up to the council meeting, but only 1 shows up, do we really want the other 2? If they're not reliable enough to show up to the meeting?
Red flag.
I mean, they're just throwing that out.
I mean, just like you were saying, we had 19 applications. And then they went through the interview process. Dustin chose 3 or 4, how many was it?
No, we had 19, but they didn't show up. This was the interview process at the time was they would come and we would interview them. It wasn't a pre-interview and then to us. It was, they turned the application in, okay, these are all come to the meeting. And only so many people would show up.
Last group, Dustin picked 3.
Dustin went through and picked out the ones he felt was
And 2 didn't show up.
Right.
what he needed.
Right, that time, yeah.
So maybe we can, what I'm saying is maybe we can change the interview process itself to get better candidates in the door.
We've sat here, when we were doing police interviews, how many did we did 8 in one night, I
Yeah.
believe.
So I think.
We were here until 10:30.
Bigger picture is that hiring people right now for anything that you do is a huge challenge for even the best of circumstances. I've been watching the trends, I've been doing the research about what is the best way to interview people, what is the best way to attract people, how do you recruit, how do you, and the biggest answer for everybody has been, there's no answer, because we can't get a finger on why people either aren't applying, or when they do apply, why they don't show up. We had a situation set up for council to come in and do the interviews of, I believe it was 8 different people for police, and that was a couple years ago, and they all ghosted it. None of them showed up. And so I was shocked, and I have since then have learned that
And
that
that
is
was
something
even,
that happens.
I think at that time, didn't we even give you permission to, like, make a panel?
Yeah, we've done panels before, so yeah, it's definitely a hard problem. So it's a good idea to try and figure out what we can do to get people.
Did you have an idea, Holly?
Well, as I kind of mentioned when I first started talking about it, just one member of the council be a sounding board. I don't know who said that, but be a sounding board within that interview and possibly even ask some more in-depth questions.
No, so my question to that question, council doesn't have any right outside of a meeting, so would council have any rights to be able to sit into a city matter interview?
Sure.
They can do
As
that.
long as, you don't violate the Kansas Open.
Gotcha.
You can have a liaison from the council participate in those interviews.
Okay.
But it's not going to be feasible if you've got 3 that want to be the liaison. Because once you have 3, then you've got a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay? And so it's not out of line for the council to recognize one of them to be that liaison with the utility department that's going to conduct the initial interview.
Gotcha.
And then make a selection of who gets sent up.
Who gets cut?
And who gets cut.
The other,
Okay.
I really, and I know, I heard what Chad said, and I get that. Even at $30 for a background check before they even came to council, I think we need to start doing that. If it's a possible viable candidate, because we keep offering people jobs,
And then have to keep.
and then we wind up rescinding it
Right.
because we find out they got a DUI or whatever reason. And it's getting old.
Now, that liaison, can they make a recommendation to the head of the department? Like what, because you said something about as long as they don't violate the open.
The Kansas Open Meetings Act.
And what,
That's
how
only
would
gonna-
one violate that?
That's only going to occur if you have if you have 3 or more
I see.
of the council members.
Okay,
So no, you wouldn't violate it by communicating your impressions with with the head of that department.
I see.
What you observed during your participation.
Because you're not making a final decision.
Right.
Per
If
the
there's
city.
not a council member available, when the interviews are set up, you want someone from city office then to sit in for a second person? Or you're saying only do it if there's a council member available?
I think only do it if the council member is available.
The issue with that is
Who's available during?
who's
business
available
hours?
during the day.
I'm off at 2:30 every day.
So you're volunteering.
So if we do a morning interview, we don't have anybody.
I can take some time off. I'm willing to sacrifice something for the betterment of the city to get better employees.
I just don't see where that guarantees anything better than what we've got.
I mean, it's
We need to
a
change
step,
the
it's
process
possible.
It
somewhere.
doesn't change the applicant.
That's the thing. I mean, we adjusted, when we talked earlier about pay scale and stuff, we were not a competitive city. We weren't with our pay. And we did make the change to the pay scale across the board to raise our pay, to bring us to somewhat of a more competitive state.
My question would be is, what's the hurt to let it try?
Yeah, I mean.
I don't see the wrong with it.
You got a council member that
She's volunteering some of her time.
I wouldn't discourage it.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
Also,
if
I
we
was
can get
gonna
somebody
say,
to work.
we can do preliminary background, through TLO for free. So if we wanna check a couple indicators, like we don't want a person felony, or we don't want, whatever it is in policy, we can go through and check for that real quick, and we can do that on all those things we can do that.
And like I said in the beginning, I also think that would hold people accountable from not hiring family members or their buddies.
Yeah.
And that would also, that would quell a little bit of the issues that a lot of businesses have.
She volunteered to be that person. Do we need to, this council need a motion to appoint that?
No, that can be by consensus.
Okay. Well, yes, this council get a poly consensus to be a, what was that word you said?
Liaison for the.
Liaison for hiring process. She's good with that. Worth a try.
I'm ready.
Worth a try.
Sure.
Yeah.
And to your original question, Emily, if the council agrees, I would love to do the February 11th thing. I'll take the day off.
Oh, the,
The job fair.
Yeah, that's what brought it up.
okay. You?
From policy question, how long do you guys want to do that before you change what's in your handbook?
What?
Because we'll have to change language in the handbook just for what you have now.
For the hiring process?
Yeah,
I would try it before we do.
right. How long do you want to try it?
Well, it depends how many positions we got.
I mean, you have two maintenance too.
You want to do a 6 month?
Just for us to be able to bring it back, because if that works and it's something you guys want to do, we're gonna have to change language in the handbook to reflect what we're doing.
6-month trial?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
And on that, let me throw in what Anthony has suggested to me, and that is on our application, we put in the questions of, do you have felonies? Do you have any guys?
Yeah,
Question.
I think we need to revamp
Can we do
our.
that, Alan?
Brian is on some of that.
It is not.
So that should.
And I
You
have,
know, there,
If it falls in place of our handbook policy.
you know, I know the state of Kansas has gotten away from that. And, you know, if you're hiring somebody to go out and mow ditches for KDOT, those type of questions probably don't have an impact on public safety. If somebody is out mowing for KDOT right away.
Yeah.
But your city utility workers, they may be called in to go shut off somebody's utilities, to have contact with public,
Water samples are sometimes done within people's homes.
have to go into somebody's home to get water sample. So, you know, the felonies do have some impact on your decision to employ, but the state of Kansas has completely done away with that, and they like to see people not have that in their application process, because I think it creates this presumption that under the circumstances, a person just will not ever be qualified.
Yeah.
But, I say this is different than a lot of the employees that the state of Kansas hires. Are you gonna have a social worker employed by the Kansas Department of Families, Children and Families and Children, DCF, that has felony conviction? Probably not. They lose the license. And those are the sort of people that are gonna hold on to go into people's homes and meet with people. But I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying that a lot of people do not like to see that in the application process, because it may eliminate some people that position they might otherwise
But
be a good fit.
our policy says we can't hire people with certain felonies, and
Within
our
a certain
insurance says
year time.
within
Well,
7
the
years of
insurance, yeah,
DUI.
that's a DUI.
So whether it's a paragraph that's written out, you are not hireable if your background comes back with these things on it, then it doesn't have to be a question, it can be a statement.
Well, but at the same time, it's a felony. What does the handbook say, that 5 years?
5 years.
So theoretically, if I had a felony that was 6 years ago and I see on an application, do you have a felony? I mean, I have to put down yes.
Within the last 5
Do you
years.
have
Oh,
a
okay.
conviction in the last 5 years?
Oh, okay, so it can't say.
Do you have a DUI conviction in the last 7 years?
Yeah, put the stipulation of the time in there that runs in line with our handbooks, is how I see it. I've seen.
I don't think it's a bad idea for local. I can see why Kansas, the state of Kansas got away from it. But locally, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Pretty sure your Frito-Lay applications have it, your BNSF
Do you recommend
applications
we
have
do or
it.
do not have it?
Your
I don't-
Big Bakery applications.
I
have
don't
it.
see any reason why you can't. I just expressed to you the other day that the state of Kansas has done away with it.
It's frowned upon.
But again, we've got to,
I think this is part.
we may have a more conservative.
I think it's because they have interaction with our
legislation.
citizens, children, going in and out of homes that we have
Yeah.
to specify it, because if they say no, and we find out they do, that's an integrity thing. So.
Yeah, if you want to add it,
Should we rough draft something up and then approve something at the next meeting, or?
yeah, we can.
We can always see what other cities have as far as the language that they're using to be discreet
Yeah.
in that line of question. I'm sure other cities have figured it out.
I also feel it'd just be better for our applicants, so we don't get them in here, give them hope, and then come back later and be like, well, for our policy,
Yeah, they just kind of auto-eliminate themselves.
you know. I mean, it's time.
Those two things have been our number one problem.
Okay, so yes on the job fair and yes on the,
Okay.
Alrighty. So then we move to off agenda items. We already did local, oh, we need to talk about the local government day, I'm sorry. That's not what you were talking about.
there's a local government day on January 28th, that Ashley and I signed up for, so we'll be going to that. And then, there's still the Leaders Academy. I know Ashley and I both are gonna go, and Barb has said yes, and I think Holly opted out, so. If there's anyone else that wants to go, just get registered.
Okay. When's the deadline for registration?
It was on here March 15th.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've marked no on that list for now. If it changes, I will let you know.
Alrighty. This one we have time then to, approve the rates and stuff later, at a later meeting, right? Depending on who all finishes, it looks like it's got a 110 plus tax for the rooms.
We're just driving up and coming back.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. Okay.
And then I wrote off to the side of the agenda the extension request.
I see that here. Did you guys all see the extension request? Is there any questions or discussion on that?
And those are 1 month usages.
You got water?
Water
Water trash
sewer?
store.
Oh, okay.
2:30, wow. I make a motion to approve extension.
Motion by Kevin, second by Barb. Ron? Oh, I think they both said it. I heard Barb, so I'm sorry. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried. Everybody?
I have one follow-up.
Okay.
last meeting, we talked about the Advantage Computer Storage invoice. I did talk with Jayhawk, and they sent me a list of what they're saying. They're proposing we get more disk space. We don't actually need it. What we need to do, for some reason, they're backing up a lot more stuff than they need to, not just the Jayhawk stuff and the database stuff. They're backing up, applications and install files and all that stuff. They've just got folders selected, so they told me where they're at, and I need to go into on the server and just take it on. So we don't need to do anything with this invoice from last meeting to extend this space. We'll clean that up and we'll be good.
Okay. Thank you.
And I was curious if Dustin had called the people that are doing since we found out that all that was PVC pipe, they had called them, or if he had called them, I guess he's not here to say that, but probably not.
The restock fee on the.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
Like, ask him.
Perfect. Notes and FYI?
It was just water test.
Okay. And then, the bills, so we got 3 signatures on those.
Make a motion, we looked at the bills.
Motion by Kevin, second by Chad. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, motion carried. And if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn. I move we adjourn. Second. Motion to adjourn by Ron, second by Chad. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All in favor, motion to adjourn at 8:36.